Okay, do you want to hear my creepiest, like still makes me want to throw up creature story?
Maybe.
I know. It's a rhetorical question. You're going to hear the story whether you want to or not. Hello, Eepers. Welcome to another episode of Extra English Podcast with Misha
And Larissa. We're two Canadian English teachers talking about life in Canada, our lives, and anything else that might interest us. And hopefully will interest you too.
So join us for another conversation.
Today we'll talk about encounters with animals.
Yes, love it.
Have you had an encounter with an animal?
Yes, have I ever told you about the time my roommate and I chased a bat around our kitchen?
This sounds vaguely familiar, but tell me again.
Also, when I say she and I chased it,
Yeah?
she did the chasing. I did the equally important job of cowering under the kitchen table. While screaming.
Okay, so I am envisioning a roommate, like, being active, chasing an uninvited guest around the house.
Gross. Bats are gross. They're icky. The flap. You know what I'm talking about? It's like,
Yeah.
oh, I hate it. Yes.
And then you are under the table, under a blanket, maybe?
I was indeed under a sheet that we had brought to try to catch it.
Just hiding.
Just listen, I don't, certain creatures just really raise the hairs on the back of my neck. Bats are one. And this bat, I think, had found its way into my room.
Oh.
And I got my dad to come over because I suspected something.
Okay.
I'd heard something in the night, or I got my dad to come over and look for it. We couldn't find it. But then one day, my roommate and I went out for a walk, and we had left our doors, like the big door, open. Anyway, so there was fresh air in the house.
Okay, but it was screened.
I think it was screened. And we came home from our walk, and we could see it.
Oh.
On the main floor, whipping around. Ugh, skin crawling just thinking about it. So we must have Googled it. We read that if you throw a sheet up in front of a bat because of their way of sensing, sometimes you can catch them that way. So we got a sheet.
Wait, you can catch them by throwing something under them?
No, in front of.
Oh, okay.
So he was like, at this point, whipping around in circles in the kitchen.
Okay, yeah.
Around the ceiling. And we read that if you throw a sheet up, well, in its path, sometimes it'll whap into the sheet. And
Okay. Yeah. Did it work?
No.
No.
It didn't work.
You got wrapped up in the sheet.
We caught a Misha. No, it didn't work. Probably user error, I'm sure. And so my friend is trying to. Oh, eventually it hung in the window like frame.
Okay,
but
so it was resting.
Yes, but the window itself was open, and the bat was kind of like on the screen part.
Okay.
Or like hanging.
So it couldn't get out because the screen was keeping it in.
It couldn't get out, but we could trap it.
Yes, okay.
By closing the inside pane.
Yes.
So my friend is trying to do that.
Yeah.
While I'm under the table, under the sheet.
Not even being moral support.
No, not helpful. In fact, I'm sure I was the opposite of helpful. Yes. I'm screaming. She's trying to do a stressful job. The bat's screaming. The only one behaving reasonably was my roommate. She manages to close the window.
Okay, good for her.
So now he's trapped between the window and the screen.
Yes.
So we go outside. I at least was company, however unhelpful. I stuck with her in my terror. She drags a picnic table over to the window so she can reach up high enough. So now I have a new place to cower.
Did you climb under the picnic table?
I think so. You need a couple layers. Meanwhile, the bat's screeching, and it's like the other bats have heard its distress signal.
It's calling for help?
I
calling for
think so.
backup?
Yes, bat up. So now other bats are swooping my friend.
Oh, no.
She's really one of the bravest people I know. As I'm recounting this
She's
story.
a hero, yes.
A hero. They're swooping her. She's trying to get the screen out. Our neighbors are our good friends. We're screaming. They heard nothing.
What?
Later we were like, where were you?
Yeah.
Next time we scream like that, come check on us.
Please.
Anyway, eventually she got the screen loose. bat flapped away into the
took
darkness.
all the rest with it.
The rest went with it, thank goodness. They don't hold a grudge, as far as I know. And I was unscathed.
Physically, but maybe not emotionally.
Anyway, it was I didn't like it.
No.
But thank goodness I had a brave... What would I have done on my own? Cried on the kitchen floor?
I think you would have moved out, yeah. You would have called your dad.
100%. That's fair.
What is it about bats that make them so so off-putting?
To be fair, I think they've been marketed poorly.
Okay, yep.
Right? Bats, they're vampires, they've got fangs, they're like part of evil scenes in movies.
Yeah, okay.
But also the sound and the rabies.
Oh,
there's a lot of reasons. There's a lot of reasons.
I was like, they're quite bony, like they're skeletal.
Yeah,
right?
And the leather wings.
Yeah.
Like leathery.
Yeah.
They're like the rats of the sky.
Uh-huh.
And nobody likes rats.
Nobody likes rats.
I mean, some people have rats as pets, so I guess some people do, but they're the outliers, I think.
Most people don't like rats. Yeah. So I've never encountered a rat.
Yeah.
But I have a story about a mouse.
Let's hear it. The rat of the sky, mouse of the sky.
Mouse of the...
Maybe the mouse is the rat of the ground.
What are you even saying?
Let's hear your mouse story.
So when I was a teenager, I had a waterbed. Do you remember waterbeds?
Yeah, my parents had a waterbed.
Okay.
Wow.
So if you don't know what that is, they were like, it was a bed filled with water. So instead of your mattress being filled with foam or coils and springs, it was like a large plastic bladder that we filled with water, and it was heated. Yes. So you could set the temperature.
Right. Forgot it was heated.
Yeah. So it was very nice. Like it moved the way you wanted it to, and it kept you warm. But we don't have them anymore. I think they're probably not good for your body.
I think they're probably really bad for your back.
Yes.
I think.
So you can't find one anymore. But they were all the rage.
They were very popular.
What, maybe early 90s.
You'd sit on it and it would go like slosh, slosh,
yes.
slosh.
Yeah.
Weird.
So anyways, I had one.
Okay. Oh no, I'm already nervous.
It's not as bad as you think.
Okay, good.
Okay. So instead of making my bed every morning, I was a teenager, I would get up, I would leave my blankets in a big pile on my bed. One day, I was coming home, getting ready for bed, and I made the bed in order to climb into it. Because I want to...
So practical.
Yeah. And as I unfolded the blankets, there was this tiny mouse just sleeping, enjoying the warmth of my waterbed. No, I was so scared. I screamed. I ran upstairs. My bedroom was in the basement. I ran upstairs, and I refused to go downstairs for a week.
Yeah.
A week.
So reasonable. Listen, he had other mousy friends. They all heard how you interrupted his nap. They're coming.
I was so scared. I don't know if I got someone else to go get clothes for me, or if I went down, like I got brave and I went down to get what I needed and then back upstairs, but I slept outside. I slept upstairs. Upstairs. No.
Outside might be a bit overreaction.
It was probably winter. Who knows? It's always winter in Canada. I was not okay for a while. No. Before then, I had heard rustling in the rafters. We knew that there were critters about. But as long as there's just noise, as long as they're hypothetical, that's one thing.
That is one thing.
Once you see them, I was not okay.
What, did someone go and like do something about the rat? Like catch it? Or?
Traps were set, yes.
Oh, and they were successful.
They must have been. I think I've blocked out that whole experience.
She doesn't remember the next month.
No. But I have not seen a mouse. Oh, that's not true. I was going to say I haven't seen a mouse since, but this past winter, my daughter and I were coming home from something, and our front lawn was all covered in snow. It was like... No. Oh my goodness, no. Snow, because it was actually winter for sure. And she said, Mom, there are all sorts of mice. And I was like, what are you talking about? And I look, and there's like 2 or 3 mice running on top of the snow. They disappeared under the snow, and I had never seen them again. Okay. We haven't heard them in our house. I don't know where they went. Do they live under the snow?
I think mice live... Yeah, I don't know.
And why did they
Places
come up?
other than our houses, for sure.
Yes.
Holes in the ground?
Well, that's where
I mean, they don't
chipmunks live.
hibernate.
Yeah,
We don't know a lot about creatures we don't like.
That's true. I don't know much about creatures I do like either.
It's true, we say.
Anyway, we never saw them again, but she was quite upset about it, thinking that they could be in our house.
Yes.
And I get that, because I had a waterbed mouse.
Yeah. And you don't want a bed mouse. That's the worst kind of mouse.
It really is. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you haven't seen them again. Fingers crossed.
We never did. Yeah.
No.
They are kind of cute, if in the right context.
Yes, I had a friend as a kid who kept a lot, too many, rats as pets.
Why would you have multiples?
Maybe they bred them or something, because I remember a lot.
Why would you breed them?
So many. I feel like they do fight on their own.
Yes.
Anyway, in that setting, they were cuter.
Yeah, in a cage, they're cuter.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly it. Contained. You want to know where they are.
But I feel a rat with its thick tail and long snout, I can't find that really cute. A mouse can be cute.
A mouse is definitely the cuter cousin of the rat. Definitely.
It's not the rat of the land, or whatever you said.
It's the mouse of the land. It's graduated up. I've been convinced. Also, I mean, there have been like Disney movies made about mice.
Yeah.
The rats, if they're in there, they're
always
not
the bad
good guys.
Mm-hmm. It's true. Yeah. Mice sing. Mice sing and dance in Disney movies.
Exactly. Okay, we've come around. They're not the worst.
But mice, please just stay out of my bed.
Yeah, agreed. Out of your house.
Yeah.
Give them a firm boundary.
Yeah.
The foundation. That's where you stop. Okay, do you want to hear my creepiest, makes me want to throw up creature story?
Maybe.
I know. It's a rhetorical question. You're going to hear the story whether you want to or not. Okay, when I was traveling in India with my brother, just after I graduated in my 20s, my brother and I were backpacking around, as young folk do, and we went on this trip in the desert. I don't know if it's relevant, but it might be where this creature came from. Anyway, we had just gotten back to the city, and one morning, I got dressed, I put on a long skirt and a shirt of some sort, and we went to breakfast, and I felt something kind of scratchy in my skirt.
No.
I'm so sorry. It gets worse. And I thought, because my mind doesn't immediately go to nightmares, thank goodness.
Yes.
That it was, we had water. We would drink water out of these sealed bottles. So we had these little plastic pieces we'd take off the top. I thought one of those got tangled up in my skirt. So I shook it. And it seemed like it fell out. I went about my breakfast. Then we're walking in the street shortly after that, and I feel it again, and I'm like, oh, I didn't shake that thing out. So I go to flip my skirt was a wraparound skirt, so I flipped over one edge. The biggest, longest, leggiest, millipede, centipede, but thick and long, huge, is in my skirt. I know, so gross. Oh, I don't even want to. Anyways, so now we're in the street, in an Indian street. I don't remember which city we were in. And I'm flapping my skirt up and down and screaming and trying to explain to my brother what's happening. He's like, what are you doing? And I just panicked. And eventually it flopped out. It was meaty. It flops on the floor and scurries away into the gutter thing at the side of the road. So gross.
Yeah.
I cannot tell you how much I inspected every article of clothing for months after that.
Yes.
Because where did it come? Did it crawl in my bag in the desert? I don't know what kind of creature this. Would it have bit me? Yeah. Who knows?
I think if it was hungry, it was in your skirt for a while. It would have had a bite before then. Ugh. Oh,
so gross.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was my worst insect experience. There have been a few others, but that's top of the list because how I think it was in there an hour or more.
Wow.
We woke up, got dressed, went and had our breakfast, and we're strolling the town.
Yeah.
Also, if you want to attract attention in the streets. First of all, be a foreigner. Second of all, scream and lift up your skirt. It's quite the scene.
Oh, you're just a party, aren't you?
24/7.
Fortunately, I can't think of any traumatic bug experiences.
Yes, fortunate. Let's hope that's my last one.
Yes, I don't want to think about that.
No.
Recently,
we live in the right place for not giant bugs.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yes. But you know what we do have?
What?
Bears.
Trade-off, giant bug bear. It's a tough one.
It's a tough one. When I was a child, I saw a bear.
Oh.
In real life, in my backyard.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It was very surprising.
What kind of bear?
Black or brown. So I don't remember because it's only from memory.
Uh-huh.
Black or brown. And I know that there's a big difference between black and brown.
There's a big difference.
One of them you're supposed to pretend you're dead, and one of them you're supposed to pretend you're big.
Black bears are on the bear scale relatively harmless.
Okay.
You can scare them off pretty easy, I think. Mm-hmm. But a brown bear, different story.
So I'm going to say it was black.
Yeah, let's say.
But also, I was a child.
Yeah.
And I don't know the difference between bears.
No, and either way, it would have looked huge to you.
Yeah. It looked huge. Also, it was a baby.
As were you.
As was I. So my sister and I are playing in the backyard.
Oh my gosh.
Just for context, we live in Southern Ontario now. This story happens in what we considered Northern Ontario, but is actually not super far north, but still, like, this won't happen here.
North of where I was going to say, because I don't think brown bears are here.
Are there black bears here?
Yes.
Here and this far?
I think so.
Oh.
Yeah, I think there could be.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well then, we have deduced it was a black bear.
Well, no, but you were north.
I was north.
So who knows?
Okay.
You were in wilder country is my
It was wilder.
point.
It was wilder.
And you weren't living in a city.
It was a city, a small city.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was very unusual for there to be a bear. We were living on a street with traffic, and we had a fenced backyard.
Oh my gosh.
And my sister and I are just playing. And then this bear comes, like, through the driveway, through the gate, up like the backyard, over the fence, into the neighbor's yard, and he disappears.
OMG.
We didn't know what to do.
No.
And so we're like, climb the tree. So we climbed the tree.
Get it.
Now, bears can climb trees. So it wasn't the smartest move, but we were kids. And we thought, get away from the bear.
Yeah.
Go up the tree. The bear wasn't interested in us. He was probably so scared. And next thing I know, there's police coming by.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, I say police. This is all from memory, from 7-year-old
someone
memory.
official in a uniform.
Yes. So I suspect it was a combination of police and animal services and city employees and I don't know who, but there were not sirens, but lights. And they were concerned about the baby bear, but they were more concerned about the mama.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
that's the real. It didn't occur to me, but if you see a baby bear, you should be real scared.
Somewhere there's a mama.
There's a mama.
So we didn't see any mamas. We didn't see that bear again. They got the information from us and then they went off and
they interviewed you about the bear.
Well, my mom. Sure. Yeah, because what was I going to say? It just went that way from the tree. It went that way. It was kind of exciting and scary at the same time, but more, I think, exciting because I had never seen a bear before.
Totally. And then you have a fun story to tell people.
Yeah. I don't know if anyone believed me. There was a bear in my backyard. No, there wasn't.
I mean, it's believable.
Well, thank you.
Surprising. I trust you.
I speak the truth.
You tell me there was a dragon back there. I'm like, what kind? Fire breathing or not? So were you're playing and the bear comes over, in your yard first.
Yeah, it just entered through the open gate, I guess.
What was did you freeze? Well, how close was it?
We must have been on the side of the tree. I'm trying to imagine the backyard. There was a swing set on one side and a tree on the other. We must have been on this side because we were like, a bear. Let's climb the tree.
I mean.
And then it didn't go very fast. Bears don't move super fast. They're
amble.
big.
They're amblers.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it just
lumber.
Came through lumber. Mm-hmm. And then over I don't know how it got over the fence. It must have struggled a little.
I mean, if they can climb trees.
Oh, yeah. But fences are
they don't have branches.
It was one of those metal, chain link.
Oh, chain link.
Yeah, I think it might have been hard.
Oh my gosh.
But it was also a sloped backyard, so maybe that helped.
Maybe.
I'm not sure. Anyway, it was gone.
I don't want to think that they have more skills than I'm aware of. You know what I'm saying?
You camp. You go camping.
We do go camping.
Have you ever encountered a bear?
We've seen a bear at a distance.
Okay.
Black bear. My mom is very scared that we will one day run into bears, so we carry bear spray, which is like pepper spray for bears. But we've never needed it. Once, though, we saw a mama moose.
Oh!
And moose are scary.
Okay.
They're very large.
They're very large.
And it was relatively close to us. So we were in our canoe in this kind of grassy, like it wasn't really open water, so we didn't have a lot of options. So we just kind of, calm, paddle, got away from it. Because it also had a baby with it. And creatures are much more dangerous when they have their offspring with them.
They want to protect their babies.
Yes. It's
They're
like
wonderful.
us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're doing what they're meant to do.
That's right.
We're getting in their way.
Yes.
We often think this is our space. Like,
That's it.
what are you doing in my space? But they were here first.
They were. Totally.
Oh, a moose. Did it look elegant, or did you not have a chance to really examine it because you were scared?
No, it looked, I wouldn't say elegant. They're kind of like goofy looking a little. Goofy's not the right word, but they're like, they're big and it looked cool. Like it was cool to see. And I haven't seen one before or since.
Okay.
So it was definitely interesting.
I've never seen a moose. I've seen deer.
Yeah. Yes.
Deer are fairly common.
Yeah. Even in the city, you sometimes see a deer,
Yeah.
bolting around.
We once had our car totaled by a deer.
Oh, no.
It was running across the street and we couldn't stop in
Yeah.
time and
Can be
crashed. It
dangerous.
was so sad.
Yeah, that is sad.
Because I think deer are elegant.
Deer are elegant, for sure. Yeah, they're beautiful. And the way they move is really beautiful.
Yeah.
Like they're kind of leaping.
Yeah.
Yeah. We are lucky, I will say, to live in a place where there really aren't that many scary creatures.
Yep, true.
We don't have a lot of venomous, overly large, human-eating things here.
No.
Like the bear and the moose, if you cornered them or they felt their children were in danger,
Yeah.
might rush you.
You know what we are in most danger from here where we live? Geese.
Oh my gosh. Listen, if you ever see a Canada goose, do not think it's a friendly thing.
No.
They're loud. They beak people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're aggressive.
Yeah,
they're
they're
really quite
aggressive.
aggressive, especially in the spring, especially when it's
Totally.
like baby season. Yeah, and they're also messy.
They're messy. She means they poop a lot.
They poop a lot. Green poop everywhere.
Green grass barely changed on its journey. Yeah.
Yeah, but they are probably the most aggressive creature I've ever encountered.
And they're prolific. They're everywhere.
Yeah.
Where we live, they're everywhere this time of year and all through the summer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I have one last creature story.
Yeah.
Another India adventure.
Oh, am I going to be scared?
No, this one's not scary.
Okay.
It's more fun than scary.
All right.
I mean, yeah.
I'm here for it either way.
It's not in my clothing. So that already gives us a layer of less scary.
And you turned out fine, so it's going to be okay.
Yeah, I survived. So I was living in Odisha, which is a state on the East Coast.
Okay.
And I had a room, like I was working for a nonprofit. So many people lived and worked on campus. I just had dinner. I came back from the mess. I was in my room. I changed into my pajamas already. And then the cook calls me on the phone. It was a landline. And he says, Misha, big snack. And I'm like, a snack?
A snack. Are you
We
hungry?
just had supper. And he's like, big snack, come, snack. And I'm like, okay, like he really wants me to come. I didn't speak the local language very well, and his English was better than my Odia, but pretty limited. So he says a big snack. He's excited. I'll go see.
Yeah.
So I go out the door of my room, and I see, like not far down the path, a group of men standing there, like talking excitedly, including the cook. So I go over, and there's a python.
Oh!
Like a huge snake. So then I realized it wasn't snack.
Not snack.
It was snake.
Although, like, maybe you could eat it, but not in that moment.
Well, also, it had clearly eaten something. It had like a big bulge.
Oh.
Like cartoon. Yeah. So I think the vibe wasn't fear.
Okay.
And I think partly because it had clearly just eaten.
Yeah.
So it wasn't super lively or whatever. But there's a man with a bucket and a stick trying to corral it
Into the bucket? The big snack can fit in the bucket.
And it wasn't a very big bucket. Also, like, I mean, again, where we come from, there's not a lot of big creatures. So even though nobody seemed very afraid, I am a little bit afraid.
Of course.
I mean, it's a python.
Yeah.
You've heard about them. They have a reputation. It's not good. But that was it. So I watched for a while, watched them try to stick it into the bucket.
Yeah.
I didn't see that happen. I don't actually really know what happened because eventually, big snack as it was, I got bored and went back to my room. So
What do you think it ate?
Good question. I don't know. Like here, I feel like snakes would eat little rabbits and rodents, but what would have been there? Yeah. Also, the campus there was like we were living kind of in the forested area. Yeah. So there was a big forest area on campus, but I never saw other creatures really aside from scorpions. Mm. Yeah. I didn't get stung by one. They were pretty...
Do snakes eat scorpions?
Well, and if it did, this was something you could see.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Yeah, good question. I should ask my friends who still live there and see if they have an idea.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was big, but not person-sized.
Excellent.
So,
we have snakes here, but they're like gardener snakes.
Oh, yeah.
They're cute.
They're chill.
They don't eat things.
No, there is a Mississauga rattler.
Ooh.
Right? I think but I feel like it's venomous, but I've never seen one. Like, I think Canada in general, but particularly where we live in the south, creatures are not very dangerous.
Not very dangerous.
And bugs are not very big.
No, the bugs will make you itchy, right? Like they'll bite you, you'll be itchy.
It's the worst of it.
That's the end. Mm-hmm. They don't carry malaria. We're so fortunate. They don't carry dengue, right? Like
nothing very dangerous.
They just really annoy us.
Yeah.
So I'll take it.
Annoying at worst. So come visit Canada if you haven't or don't live here. The people and the wildlife, welcoming. Yes. Harmless.
Unless you see a brown bear.
Then what? Play dead, you said.
I don't remember.
Don't go somewhere where the brown bears are.
Avoid the bears. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Stick to the cities. You'll be fine. Thanks for listening to another episode.
Find us on Instagram or YouTube to join the conversation.